We've been trying as much as possible to reach the MPP chairman for the Ayawaso West Wogon constituency, Mr. Jeffrey Osei, to get some responses on those accusations. But talking about social distancing protocols, all are related to COVID-19. And also, we do know Ghana's COVID-19 total case count is now pegged at some 17,741. This was after some 390 new cases were added since the last update. The current active cases now stand at 4,631 officially. But there are some key questions to ask. Do you know that some 25% of Ghana's coronavirus total case count, which is numbered some 4,435, was recorded in the last 10 days? That's very key in the analysis, because that analysis is also coming from a pharmacist and a fellow with CDD Ghana. Dr. Kwame Siedu-Sapong with CDD has been keenly analyzing Ghana's coronavirus statistics. Well, we have to dig deep into the subject. He is now joining me on stream, on Zoom. And let me ask you this key question. You projected that the infection rate could pass the 7,000 mark in the next 20 days. Based on what analysis or trends you've observed? Can you unmute for me, Doc? Great.
Thank you.
Great.
Thanks for having me. You realize that I did regress the data, and what I'm speaking to is that your active case count builds based on two parameters. The first is your new cases, and the second is your recoveries. So at any point in time, you're looking at the net increase, which is your new cases minus your recoveries. So though we are over 400 when it comes to our new cases in average in the last 10 days, the net is about 200 plus. And considering that we are around 4,300 with our active cases, if we continue with 200 plus on a daily basis, then you are expecting 2,000 cases plus in the next 10 days. If you add that to our 4,000, then you are going to around 7,000 new cases. And this is what I'm talking about. But underpinning this data is the fact that we are recording over 400 cases a day in the last 10 days. And so 25% of all our cases of COVID have been reported in 10 days as a country. And that should scare us, because if our positivity percentage keeps increasing at the rate it's been increasing, then God knows what we'll be looking at 8 weeks, 10 weeks down the line.
Yeah. But Dr. Said, if you look at regression analysis, overages are very important. And you are looking at just a period of 10 days. But preceding those 10 days ultimately would mean that there would have been some infections and daily averages before those periods. Have those considerations been made or factored in this regression analysis?
Yes, that's why I'm talking about 200 plus and not the 400 plus, because I have carried in our recoveries and our new cases. And I'm looking at the trend of our active cases, which is the differential between the two.
Yeah.
So the answer to your question is yes, I have looked at that. And so I'm looking at 200 plus a day, or 233, which is the actual number a day for the next 10 days, and adding it, because we are not going to depreciate our current active case number. And if anyone has cared to realize, since there was the rebasing of our discharge definition, when our active cases dropped to 3,900, or in fact 3,700, and started rising to 3,900, you would realize that we have been appreciating to the point where we are at 4,300 now. So this is not without those anomalies being factored for.
Well, Dr. Siedu, you do know that people in government will come after you. You do know that.
Oh, they always do, and that's fine.
Right.
You see, let me situate that. People in government would come after me is a brilliant thing. Every post I make on social media is public. And I dare all of you to go back to my post from when COVID landed in Ghana and look at the numbers we've been putting out and tell me which one has been too far from accurate. So if people are still coming after me from the 12th of March when we had our first first 2 cases, knowing the projections we've put out and still want to go on that tarry, dodgy path, I welcome them. Okay.
This
intellectual discourse.
Now my last question, just in 30 seconds. I want to ask you this. We're having a mass number of people out there because it's a registration period. How much of a danger are we in?
Well, we are in danger because the closer the proximity of human interaction, the more likely of an infected person infecting the other one. And if you look at COVID, where the generational time, which is the time it takes for an infected person to infect another, be 1.5 days, I estimate that in about 11 days, we would have some interesting numbers coming up.
Like what numbers?
I wouldn't want to hazard, but I'll put out numbers probably tomorrow or the day after.
Well, I'll wait for it. Tomorrow, I'm hitting your Facebook page straight away. But thank you very much. With the CDDF fellow, that's also important because Dr. Siedu has done some analysis. It's in a very regressive form. So you get onto his Facebook page. You can follow many of the trends he's been putting out there and posting since March. But